Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. Today we're looking into full stack development.
Yeah.
I was reading this article called Full Stack Developer Course in 2025, Unlocking Topcoder Success.
hmm
And it really got me thinking about, all the stuff we talk about on the show about topcoder and coding.
Yeah.
And it seems like maybe full stack development could give someone a real advantage.
Oh, for sure. I mean, full stack developers are really in demand now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can work on literally any part of a project.
Oh, wow. So it's like,
Like they have all the keys to the kingdom.
okay, I like that. I like that a lot. But let's take a step back for a sec.
Yeah, sure.
What does a full stack developer even do?
So it's all about handling both the front end and the back end of web applications.
Okay, so like when I'm on a website,
Right,
what
exactly.
am I seeing versus what's going on behind the scenes?
Yeah, basically. So think of it like building a house, right?
Okay,
The front end is everything you see and interact with.
like the walls and the doors
Yeah. Yeah, the walls, the doors, the paint even. It's what makes it look nice and functional for the people living there.
and the back end.
The back end is more like the foundation,
Okay.
the plumbing, the electrical wiring,
Yeah.
all that stuff that makes it work behind the scenes.
So a full stack developer is like,
The architect and the contractor all in one.
whoa, that's impressive.
They can design and build the whole thing, the visible and the hidden parts.
So they're creating the whole user experience.
Exactly. And that's why they're becoming so valuable, especially companies that need people who can handle a lot of different tasks.
Like startups.
Exactly. Startups, they often have limited resources, so having one person who can wear multiple hats is a game changer.
Makes sense. So how does all of this relate to Topcoder? This article kept mentioning Topcoder.
So let's say you're doing a Topcoder challenge
Mhm.
and you need to create a web app.
Okay.
A full stack developer would approach that differently.
How so?
They wouldn't just focus on the code itself. They'd also think about how the code affects the user experience on the front end
Right.
and how it connects to the back end and the database.
So it's a more like,
It's more holistic,
yeah,
which usually leads to better solutions.
it's like a secret weapon or something.
Yeah, it's like seeing the whole battlefield, not just one part of it.
Okay. I'm starting to get it.
Okay.
And is this stuff like future-proof? Technology changes so fast.
That's the beauty of it. Technologies come and go, but the basic principles of front end and back end
They
development,
stay the same.
yeah, they pretty much stay the same.
Right.
So you're not just learning specific tools, you're learning a way of thinking that helps you adapt.
Well, no, it's like because
Yeah.
I know things change quickly.
Yeah.
Speaking of change, this article talks about some pretty big trends for 2025.
Like what?
Things like AI integration and cloud-native development.
Right.
Those seem like game changers for Tom coders, don't they?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, how would that change things for someone already competing?
Well, imagine a challenge where you have to integrate AI into a web app.
Okay.
Maybe for something like personalized content or a smart search feature.
hmm
A full stack developer who understands AI would have a huge advantage.
So it's not just building the app, it's also
It's building the app and knowing how to train the AI models.
right, and making sure they all work together.
Exactly.
Wow, this is blowing my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like full stack development really unlocks a whole other level
It really
than
does.
top coder.
Yeah.
Like you're not just coding, you're problem solving on a whole other.
Level.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And what about cloud native development? I keep hearing that term everywhere.
Yeah, that's another big one.
It seems like more and more apps are moving to the cloud.
Oh, definitely.
So how does that fit into all this?
Well, think about it. If you're a top coder competitor and you're building something complex,
Mm-hmm.
understanding cloud platforms
Okay.
and things like containerization, those will be essential for building solutions that can scale.
So even if someone doesn't want to be a full-time full stack developer,
Right.
these skills could still give them a big leg up in competition.
It's like having a toolkit with all the newest gadgets.
Yeah.
Even if you don't use every tool all the time,
Right.
just knowing how to use them gives you so many more options.
I like that analogy.
Ah.
So this article also talks about a specific full stack developer course in 2025.
Mm-hmm.
What should someone look for in a course like that?
Well, the article breaks it down into 4 main parts.
Okay, let's hear it.
First, you need a strong foundation in front-end development.
So that's all the stuff we see on a website, right?
Yeah, things like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript,
Okay.
and learning popular frameworks like React.
What's so special about React? Everyone's talking about it.
It's like this super efficient way to build user interfaces.
Okay.
It helps you build things faster and maintain them more easily.
So for a Topcoder competitor, that means?
You can build complex front-end interfaces quickly and effectively.
Got it. So it's not just knowing the language, it's knowing how to use the best tools.
Exactly.
Right.
And then second, you need back-end development skills.
Yeah. For the behind-the-scenes stuff.
Yeah, things like Python or Node.js,
Okay.
and understanding APIs, databases, and server-side logic.
Okay, so we have the front end with React, the back end with languages like Python. What's the third piece?
Database management. A good course will teach you about different types of databases.
Like what?
Relational databases like MySQL for structured data, and NoSQL databases like MongoDB for more flexible data types.
So many options.
Lots of options.
And understanding them all.
Yeah, why is that so important for a full-stack developer, especially for Topcoder?
Imagine a challenge where you need to store and retrieve user data.
Okay.
Knowing how to structure a database efficiently and make sure the data is accurate, that can make a huge difference in your solution.
Wow, it all starts to connect, doesn't it?
Yeah, it all comes together.
And what about the last part?
The last part is version control and deployment.
I've heard of Git. What's that all about?
Git is essential, especially in a competitive setting.
Like Topcoder. Yeah, exactly. Imagine you're working on a challenge, and you make a bunch of changes to your code. And then you realize you made a mistake and need to go back to a previous version. Without version control, you'd have to undo everything manually.
That sounds like a nightmare.
It would be a disaster. Git lets you track every change,
Oh, wow.
create branches for experimenting, and easily revert back if you need to.
So it's like a safety net for your code.
Exactly. It's essential when you're under pressure.
So a good full-stack course will not only teach you languages and frameworks,
Yet
but also...
the tools and workflows that can give you an edge.
I like it. And I bet there are even more benefits to becoming a full-stack developer,
Oh, yeah, definitely.
besides just the technical skills.
This article mentions versatility, career opportunities, and improved collaboration.
Tell me more. I'm really intrigued.
Well, one of the most appealing things is the versatility.
Okay.
You're not limited to one specific area.
You can work on pretty much anything.
Pretty much. You can do front-end, back-end, databases, you name it. You can even get into AI or cloud computing if that's your thing.
Wow, so it's not just a job. It's like,
A journey.
yeah, a journey of exploration.
Exactly. And that versatility leads to so many career opportunities.
I can imagine full-stack developers are in high demand, right?
Oh, yeah. Across tons of industries, from startups to the biggest tech companies.
And they get to create some amazing stuff.
They're the ones who bring visions to life, you know?
And this article also mentions that full-stack skills can improve collaboration.
Oh, for sure.
How so?
Think about a Topcoder team challenge.
Okay.
A full-stack developer can easily jump between front-end and back-end tasks.
Right.
They can communicate with teammates who specialize in different areas.
So they're like the glue that holds the team together?
Exactly. They understand the whole architecture of the solution.
Wow, this is all starting to sound pretty amazing.
It's exciting stuff.
But let's be real for a second.
Okay.
This article also talks about the challenges of full-stack development. Things like keeping up with technology, balancing front-end and back-end expertise, and debugging complex systems.
It's not a walk in the park, for sure.
Those sound like some pretty big hurdles. What are your thoughts?
They are real challenges, but they're manageable with the right approach.
Okay, so how do you manage?
The key is lifelong learning.
Oh, I like that.
The tech world changes so fast, you have to be comfortable with constantly updating your skills.
So always be learning.
Always be learning. Don't be afraid to experiment.
Yeah.
Read blogs, documentation, and participate in online communities.
It's like you're never really done learning.
Never done it. And as for balancing front-end and back-end expertise,
Yeah, how do you do both?
it's kind of like being bilingual.
Okay,
You need to be fluent in both languages, but you don't have to be an expert in every single nuance.
that makes sense.
Focus on building a solid foundation in both areas,
Yeah.
and then specialize in what interests you the most.
That seems less overwhelming than trying to master everything at once.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then there's debugging. Ugh, debugging.
Yeah, that can be tough. But it's also really rewarding.
Really?
How so? When you can trace a bug through all the layers of an application and finally find the source of the problem,
Yeah.
it's a great feeling.
It's like solving a mystery.
Exactly. And the more you practice, the better you get at it.
So before we wrap up this part of our deep dive,
Sure.
this article talks about top coders who thrived with full stack skills.
Right.
What do you think those success stories look like?
Well, imagine a competitor who consistently wins challenges because they can approach problems from multiple
That's
angles.
impressive.
They're not just coding, they're crafting elegant
And
solutions.
that sets them apart.
They rise to the top, not just because of their technical skills,
But because
they
they,
see the big picture.
right, and how it all connects.
Exactly.
That's a great image to end on. A full stack developer at the top of the Topcoder leaderboard,
Yeah.
having used their skills to conquer the challenge. And what's even more exciting is that these success stories aren't limited to just competition.
Oh, really?
Full stack developers are highly sought after in the industry.
They probably make good money.
Oh, yeah. They have impressive salaries,
Mm-hmm.
and they get to work on cutting-edge projects.
That sounds pretty amazing.
It is.
Well, we'll definitely explore those aspects in more detail in part 2.
You're looking forward to it.
But for now, I want to thank you for joining us.
It's been fun.
We've defined what a full stack developer is,
Mm-hmm.
and we've seen how these skills can be a real game changer in Topcoder.
And beyond.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. There's so much potential.
Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll delve even deeper into the world of full stack development.
We'll look at the latest trends
Hmm.
and uncover even more ways these skills can help you.
Until next time, keep those coding fingers nimble.
And your mind's open to the possibilities.
Of full stack development. We'll see you soon. Welcome back to our deep dive on full stack development.
Hmm.
In part 1, we talked about what a full stack developer is
Mm-hmm.
and why these skills are so valuable.
Right.
Now I want to get into the how does someone actually become a full stack developer?
That's a great question. And this article has some really good advice.
Yeah.
It talks about building a portfolio, participating in challenges, and networking with other developers.
Okay, let's start with the portfolio. What kind of projects should someone focus on?
Well, your portfolio is like a showcase of your skills.
Right.
It's how you prove you can build real-world applications.
So for someone who wants to impress top coder judges,
Yeah.
what would really stand out?
I think judges look for projects that show creativity, problem solving, and a deep understanding of both front end and back end.
Gotcha. So what kind of project would demonstrate all that?
How about this? Imagine building a web app that simulates a real-time coding competition.
Whoa. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. You could have a front end where users see the challenge prompts, write their code, and see a leaderboard updating live.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
And the back end would handle code execution, scoring, and maybe even some AI to analyze the code quality.
Oh, wow, that's next level.
Hmm.
That would definitely show off some serious full stack skills.
Exactly. And even if you don't start with something that complex,
Yeah.
you can start with smaller projects that focus on specific areas, like front-end interactivity or back-end logic.
So just build stuff that interests you.
Yeah, and stuff that challenges you,
Yeah.
things that show off what you're good at.
Okay, I like that. Now, what about participating in challenges?
Oh, challenges are essential.
Yeah.
They're like your training ground.
Okay.
Platforms like Topcoders have tons of challenges,
Right.
and a lot of them involve building full-stack applications.
So how can someone use those
Yeah.
to prepare for top coder competitions?
Well, by doing them, you'll get better at your technical skills, but you'll also learn to work under pressure, manage your time, and think creatively.
So it's more than just writing code.
Yeah,
It's about developing that competitive mindset.
exactly. And here's a tip. Don't just try to solve the challenge. Take some time to look at the winning solutions.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Understand how other people approached it.
Yeah.
Learn from their techniques.
It's like watching game film to improve your own game.
Exactly. You can learn a lot from seeing how the pros do it.
Okay, so we've got building a portfolio, participating in challenges.
Mm-hmm.
And what about networking?
Networking is all about building connections.
Huh.
Go to industry events, join online communities,
Yep.
engage with other developers on LinkedIn and GitHub.
So share your work, get feedback, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Learn from other people's experiences.
It sounds like building a support system.
Yeah, kind of. Like a network of mentors and peers who can help you grow.
So building a portfolio, doing challenges, networking,
Those are the 3 pillars.
those are the keys to success.
Yeah, and remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Right.
Don't get discouraged if it takes time.
Yeah, just keep learning and keep practicing.
Exactly. The rewards will come.
Okay, so we've talked about how to become a full stack developer.
Mhm.
Now let's talk about where those skills can be used.
Okay.
This article mentioned e-commerce platforms, social media apps, and SaaS solutions.
Right.
What kind of projects would a full stack developer work on in those industries?
Let's say you're working on an e-commerce platform.
Okay.
You might be involved in creating that whole online shopping experience.
Like from browsing products to checking out.
Yeah, you design the product pages, the shopping cart,
Mhm.
set up secure payments, and integrate with shipping and inventory systems.
Wow, so you're building the whole engine that makes online shopping possible.
Pretty much. And what about social media?
Yeah, what would you do there?
You'd have to create a really dynamic user interface,
Great.
handle real-time messaging, notifications,
Right.
manage user data securely,
Mm-hmm.
and make sure the back end can handle millions of users.
That sounds super challenging.
It is, but it's also really rewarding. You're building a platform that connects people all over the world.
That's pretty cool. And what about SaaS solutions?
SaaS is all about software delivered over the internet.
Right.
You could work on project management tools, CRM systems, even online learning platforms.
Wow, the possibilities are endless.
It's a huge field.
Yeah.
And with all these different applications,
Yeah.
I'm curious, what's a typical day like for a full-stack developer?
Well, it's not just sitting in a dark room coding all day.
Okay.
You'll do a lot of coding, but you'll also be collaborating with designers,
Okay.
working with back-end engineers, testing and debugging, attending meetings,
Yeah.
and even researching new technologies.
That's pretty dynamic.
Very dynamic.
Yeah.
No 2 days are the same.
You're always learning.
Always learning and facing new challenges.
I like it. Now I want to talk about mindset.
Mindset.
Yeah. What makes a successful full-stack developer? What are the key traits?
Well, one of the most important is a growth mindset.
Okay.
Technology is always changing, so you need to be comfortable with constantly learning and adapting.
So always be open to new things.
Exactly. You don't have to be an expert in everything.
Just be willing to learn.
And what else?
Resilience.
Yeah.
You'll face challenges.
Yeah, I could imagine.
You'll hit roadblocks. You'll have doubts.
Yeah.
But you have to be able to push through those obstacles.
It's true for anything in life, I guess.
Oh, definitely. And then there's curiosity.
Curiosity.
Yeah. The best developers are the ones who are always asking why.
You want to understand how things work.
Exactly. And that curiosity often leads to innovation.
They're the ones who come up with those groundbreaking solutions.
Exactly. They see the big picture and they connect the dots.
Okay, so growth mindset,
Mm,
resilience, curiosity.
those are the big ones.
Those are the foundations of a successful full-stack developer.
And with the demand for these skills only increasing,
Yeah.
the future is bright for anyone who's passionate about this field.
Well, we've covered a lot in this part.
Yeah, we have.
We've looked at the steps to becoming a full-stack developer,
Mm-hmm.
the different industries where those skills can be used,
Right.
and the mindset that sets successful developers apart.
We covered a lot of ground.
There's still more to explore.
There is.
In part 3, we'll dive into the future of full-stack development.
We'll talk about AI and cloud computing
Mm-hmm.
and even some ethical considerations.
that's an important one.
It is. It's about more than just building code.
Right. It's about the impact that technology has on the world.
Exactly.
So stay tuned for the final part of our deep dive
We'll connect all the dots.
and see how full-stack development can be a force for good in the world.
Looking forward to it.
And we're back for the final part of our deep dive into full-stack development. It's been quite a journey, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. We've covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, we've talked about what full-stack developers do, how to become one, and even the kind of mindset you need to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
But now I want to look ahead. What does the future hold for full-stack development?
Well, the future is all about how technology is evolving.
Right, things are changing so fast.
Exactly. We're seeing AI, cloud computing, the Internet of Things. All these trends are converging.
Yeah, I keep hearing those buzzwords everywhere.
They're not just buzzwords, though. They're changing how we build and use applications.
So it's not enough to just learn the skills we have now.
Right. You need to be able to adapt and learn new things as they come along.
So like with AI, for example.
Exactly. AI is already being used in web apps for things like recommendations and chatbots.
Yeah, I've seen that.
As AI gets more sophisticated, full-stack developers will need to know how to incorporate it.
So it's not just building an app, it's building an app with AI built in.
Exactly. You need to understand the algorithms, train the models, and make sure it's all used ethically.
That sounds like a whole new challenge for Topcoder competitors.
It definitely adds a new dimension. And then there's cloud computing.
Right. Everyone's moving to the cloud these days.
More and more applications are being deployed in the cloud using platforms like AWS and Azure.
So knowing about the cloud is becoming essential for full-stack developers.
It's not really optional anymore. It's a core skill.
And what about the Internet of Things? All those devices connected to the Internet?
That's another huge area. Full-stack developers will be needed to build applications that interact with the physical world.
So like an app that controls your smart home devices.
Exactly. Or an app that analyzes data from sensors in a factory. The possibilities are pretty amazing.
It's mind-blowing when you think about it.
Yeah.
But with all this power comes responsibility, right?
Absolutely. We're not just writing code, we're shaping experiences and impacting people's lives.
It's like we have a responsibility to make sure the technology we build is used for good.
Exactly. We need to think about the ethical implications of our work.
So give me an example. What kind of ethical dilemmas might a full-stack developer face?
Well, imagine you're building an AI-powered hiring system.
Okay.
You have to make sure the algorithms are fair and unbiased.
Right. They shouldn't discriminate against anyone.
Exactly. You have to be careful that you're not perpetuating existing inequalities.
That's a really important point. So full-stack development is about more than just technical skills.
It's about social responsibility, too.
It's about using your skills to make the world a better place.
Exactly.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one thing you want our listeners to take away?
I would say embrace the journey.
Yeah.
Full stack development is all about continuous learning and growth.
Mm.
Don't be afraid to try new things and push yourself.
Be adaptable and always be learning.
Exactly. And remember, it's not just about building apps.
That's about making a difference.
It's about solving problems and creating value.
I like that. So as you build your skills, think about the problems you want to solve.
Think about how you can use technology to make a positive impact.
That's a great message to end on going. Full stack development is more than just a career.
It's a way to shape the future.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the world of full stack development.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you've learned a lot and that you're excited to see what the future holds for this amazing field.
Me too.
Keep coding, keep learning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible. We'll see you next time.